From turnstile to turnstile, let's talk theme parks.
Welcome to Park Hopper Podcast. Welcome back. This is episode 6 of the Park Hopper Podcast. My name is Dominic Evco. We're here with Peter Brookhart. Peter, how's it going today? How are you?
I'm very excited for part 2 of our Disney World food and beverage discussion. Now, if you don't know what we're talking about, go back to a few days ago and download and listen to the previous episode, which is where we did each of ours top 5 favorite quick service restaurants in Walt Disney World, and an honorable mention. And it was a good one. It was a good one. We had some likes, some dislikes, some samesies.
Right, we did. It was, what the young kids say nowadays, lit.
And it also got me shook.
Dab on that.
Okay, we're done with that.
With that. Before we get started, I would like to go ahead and mention that you can email us at parkhopperpodcast@gmail.com. Your theme park testimonials. Those are where you've had an experience, good or bad. Most likely try to keep them good. At a theme park, doesn't have to be Disney or Universal, it can be anywhere around the world, and you want us to share that on our show, you can go ahead and email us there. You can go follow Peter and Sarah on their journey at the Brookhart Project on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can also go follow myself and my girlfriend Victoria on YouTube at Dom and Vic, and on Instagram at Dom and Vic Eats Detroit to follow us on our foodie adventures. And lastly, I'll let Peter finish and talk about Patreon.
Yeah, so Patreon is the best way to get the most content out of Dom and I. Now, as you just heard, we're pretty busy men. He's got all of his food adventures. I go to Disney World every day. I've got my wife does a button subscription where she does the designing for, and where we pump out a video every day, and then Dom and I pump out this podcast every week. So we're all very busy. But even with all that business going on, Dom and I wanted to go an extra mile and bring some exclusive content to you as our supporters. So what happens with Patreon is at patreon.com/parkhopperpodcast, you can sign up for a monthly donation or a subscription fee, if you call it, and you'll get access to different levels of content that Dom and I create every week just for you. So we do short, we call them I-4 rambles, where we just discuss something about a food or a ride that just is on our mind. It's probably just going to be one of us at a time. Then we also you can get access to this podcast a day early. So on Saturday mornings, you can get access to this podcast rather than Sunday. There's special discussion boards. We can do monthly live streams. And then we're going to bring you commentaries on certain ride-throughs of attractions in the area theme parks that we both visit. So definitely check that out.
Correct. So very exciting stuff coming from Peter and I with this podcast. And we just want to give you guys the best content as possible. So let's get started. For those of you that listened in on our last episode, we did our top 5 quick service restaurants in Walt Disney World. Very exciting stuff. But today we are going to talk about our top 5 table service restaurants in Walt Disney World. And I'm super excited about this because this is like my bread and butter. I get so excited when I get to go to a new table service restaurant or even an old one that I love, just because it has such a good experience all around when you go to those type of restaurants. So Peter, I say since I started first last week, I will let you go first this time. So give us your number 5 top table service restaurant in Walt Disney World.
All right, so my top 5, and as we said last week, but if you missed it, these top 5s for both of us are very malleable. They're on our list. They're our top 5. We love them. I think besides maybe the number 1 option for me and number 1 and 2, the rest of them can go in any order. So I just want to throw that as a disclaimer out there. My number 5 pick is at Epcot, Wonderful World Showcase, and that's going to be at the Italy Pavilion, and that's Via Napoli. So this is an amazing sit-down restaurant, very immersive. You really feel like you're in the Italian culture. They've got these 3 giant wood stone ovens that they cook your pizza in. And this is I've only gotten pizza there, so I can't speak for anything else on their menu. But you go to Via Napoli for their pizza, and you can get personal ones. We're big fans of getting the big ones that you share with your friends and family. Get a glass of wine, get a pop, get just a cup of water, but just their pizza, from the dough to the seasoning on top, the best.
I would have to agree. That is not, I'll say it right now, that is not on my list, but that is a very good restaurant. I've never really had a bad experience there. I have had other stuff outside of the pizza. I've had a couple appetizers. I've had the arancini, which is, for those of you who don't know what that is rice balls. So it's a deep fried rice ball stuffed with cheese. Those are very good there. And I've also had the calamari, which I've thoroughly enjoyed as well. But Peter, I'd have to agree. I think one thing Florida lacks, really outside of Disney World, it's not necessarily known for their food really outside of seafood. You know, it's something that I think Florida struggles with, whether that's, I think Sarah might have mentioned this the other day, I think it was her, about like Chinese food. Was that?
Yeah, we've been jonesing for a Chinese restaurant.
Right, and it's hard to get good
out of
Chinese.
the Disney bubble.
Right, it's hard to get good Chinese in Florida, and I think on top of Chinese, one thing it's really hard to get in Florida is good pizza.
Yeah, and you're talking to a couple that loves themselves some pizza and is really struggling that we can't find good pizza down here.
And I think Via Napoli gives a really good solid pizza. I've been with people that don't necessarily like their pizza, but I don't think it's because it's bad pizza. It's just not the style of pizza that they like. I think for that style of pizza that it has to offer, they do a very well job at it.
I agree. I think another thing to point out that's important is with the ambiance and the experience, they are a restaurant, and now this is important to families that are listening. They can accommodate a couple going there on a date or an anniversary, or if you're just going with your pal, they can accommodate a table too, or they can accommodate a party of 10. They've got large tables. They're very accommodating because, that's just in like the Italian culture to be accommodating to large friends, large groups, large families. It's very easy to do that at this restaurant.
Right. It's very open spaced, very high ceilings. It kind of has like a modern look to it.
It does. It's a more modern
look.
for World Showcase. I did get a dessert there. I think I did get a sundae there last time I went there, and it was very good. It
was good.
Nothing crazy, nothing different. Just good quality ice cream, good quality toppings. Something really good to have after that nice doughy pizza.
Well, that is a very good.
Good way to kick it off, right?
Good way to kick it off. And now I'm thinking of my honorable mentions, and I got like 3 to 4 honorable mentions now. I just might have to name all of them. But besides that, I will go into my number 5. And kind of like you mentioned, these can be changed in different orders. But I'm going to stick with what I have. And my number 5 is a restaurant I don't think you've been to. You've been to kind of their sister, somewhat restaurant, and that is Yachtsman Steakhouse.
Mm-hmm.
This is a steakhouse that is very pricey. It is anywhere between like $40 to $50 a steak, and you are just getting that steak. It does not come with sides. That is all extra. But I will tell you what, everything that you're getting is very, 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 and if you watch my vlogs, I say very a lot, very, very, very good. And I thoroughly enjoy it. I think personally, when it comes to steaks, my family can grill the best steak at home. But if I'm going to a restaurant, Yachtsman, I would easily say is top 2 to 3 steaks I've ever had at a restaurant.
Wow, yeah. It's something that we're hoping to get to one of these days, maybe in 2018. Sarah's been. She always tells a story about her older sister getting like the largest steak ever. But yeah, I've never been there. We just went to Ale and Compass, that's the one that's next to it. Correct?
Right. That's why I said it's kind of like their sister.
Yeah. Sarah and I just went to to have lunch at Ale and Compass, which is newly redone. Table service. They've got a lounge. Very good, but completely different than Yachtsman Steakhouse.
Right. And I mean everything about it. I mean the decor is very kind of dark, cozy, old school steakhouse kind of vibe to it. The servers are in coats, and they're very professional. They're not just in and out type servers, eat your food and go. They want to give you a good experience. As you walk in, you see the head chef. He's not even cooking. He is expediting at the food window, telling the cooks what to do.
You also see the walk-in cooler, right, with the
right
aged
where
meat?
where they're butchering the meat. It's just a really good experience, and I've been there 2 or 3 times. So
that's the restaurant with the amazing garlic appetizer, right?
yes, and that
they bring out bread, and they bring out I think it's 2 or 3, just a whole garlic, but
Roasted
just
clove.
roasted clove, where it's like butter when you scoop it out with your knife and smear it on the bread.
Right. It is. I mean, you put that and butter on there. I mean, get out of here with that. I mean, come on. It's just the best. And that is my number 5 restaurant, Yachtsman Steakhouse at the Yacht Club Resort.
Now, you may ask me. I think this next one for me, my number 4, is going to surprise you. It's at a resort. I think the rest of them. Let me look. Yeah, the rest of mine are all resorts. I only had Via Napoli would be as an in-park restaurant. The next one, I think it's going to surprise you, but a lot of it has to do with the experience and the style, and that's going to be the Whispering Canyon Cafe
That's a good
at,
one.
at Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah.
And so what Whispering Canyon Cafe is, we went, just did breakfast, didn't we?
I don't think
No, we went with your family and we did.
We did dinner. I've been there twice for dinner both times.
I've done dinner and breakfast, and I think I like breakfast more. It's got your standard Disney items, but also has the unique items just to them, the way they roast their potatoes, the way they do the eggs. They've got other items, but it's family style, all you can eat, and the service is great. You got to ask for ketchup while you're there. It's just an experience. The service is amazing. The food quality is amazing, and it's a decent price. I think it's like a $30 or $35 price per person for the all you can eat buffet.
Yeah,
But
and
that's
it's a good bargain for
amazing.
$1 in Disney. I mean, I've been there twice. I think I got the barbecue platter one time and really enjoyed it, and then I can't remember what I had the other time. But I remember when you came with me, it was quite the experience. We won't go into much detail, but some of the people we were with were putting on quite the show. It was quite the experience.
Now, I will point out, if you want to go visit this or just get a little bit of a taste of the experience, it's in the lobby of Wilderness Lodge, so you can go there, and that's what's part of it. Is it feels like it's just part of the resort. And
Right.
if you've been to Wilderness Lodge, you understand what I'm talking about. Where this resort is amazing in its grandeur, its detail, how it's got a story to it, and Whispering Canyon Cafe just fits right into it. It was made to be in that resort.
Right. Well, that is a very good one, Peter. I am very shocked and pleasantly surprised to your list.
Well,
because they're
I
very
promise
different.
I promise you, I don't. Besides my number 3, you're not going to be surprised by my next ones.
Okay. All right. So I
Let's
am
hear
on
your number
3, right?
4.
4.
You're
Oh,
on-
I accidentally deleted mine. Yes, I'm on number 4. So this restaurant that I am going on my number 4, it is. I think it possibly could be higher on my list, but I have it at number 4 only because I've been there once and it was like 7 years ago. No, right? It's 2018. Yeah, almost 7 years. And this is a restaurant that is at Animal Kingdom Lodge. And I went there the day before my parents left to go home from dropping me off on my college program, and that is Jitco. Jitco.
Oh.
I don't think that was one you would have thought I was going to say.
I really didn't, and I like this because I've never been there, but I've got a story for it.
Right. So that restaurant, one, I think the atmosphere is very beautiful. It's kind of right by the pool. They kind of got a little river on the outside. I just really like the lighting. It's kind of cozy, dark. And the food that I had a filet there. And I remember it being one of the best fillets I've ever had. Mind you, that was 7 years ago. I could go back there now and not like it. But I just remember that experience so distinctly that I remember I go, wow, this is truly one of the best meals that I've ever had at Disney. And not only is that my opinion, I've heard a lot of other people say that about Jico as well. So I kind of think that my opinion on that restaurant would be the same if I go back again, because I've heard plenty of people say that that is easily one of the top restaurants in Disney.
Now, I think this works very well. If you listen to our last episode, we talk about quick service. Dom kind of touched on an important point that Disney is very serious and takes it. It's so important to them to get everything as culturally appropriate and accurate as possible. Dom mentioned that with the fish and chips at Epcot last episode, and Jitco is African cuisine, and it was so important to them that they literally, the head chef, so this is my story, is I worked with one of the sous chefs at the JW Marriott in Chicago, and I talked to this woman who was one of the one of the sous chefs at Jitco when it opened,
Okay.
and she told me how that Disney sent the head chef of Jitco before it opened to Africa, to different regions, to cook with chefs of the different regions of Africa
Wow.
to get such an authentic experience, and how they cook it, how they prepare it, how it tastes, what you're supposed to feel like, what you're supposed to hear, what you're supposed to, what your all your senses are supposed to be like while you're eating it, before they went back and finalized their menu and the experience of Jitco. So
That
I
is
think that it is a. I didn't think you were gonna say that, but there's so much. I think it's a little pricier when it comes to table
It is.
services, but I've never eaten there. But it's so. I hear nothing but great things.
Did you know that I've been there before?
Yeah, I did.
Oh
I
yeah,
did.
and I never knew that story that you just said. So that's
Mhm.
makes it even cooler. I think if you went there, you'd love it. I think it's a great restaurant, and it's in. I mean, I go back and forth, but one of my top 2 to 3 favorite
Who-
resorts.
Where is the Nan?
That's at
the J-
Sanaa.
Okay, so I've been to Sanaa. I've been to
And
Sanaa.
I've been to Sanaa as well.
Have not been to Jitco, but I'll go. I'll bounce back to my number 3, Boma,
Which is right across the street.
which is literally 20 feet away from Jitco. They're both in the main building of Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, which, talking about beautiful resorts with Wilderness Lodge, Animal Kingdom Lodge is beautiful.
Right.
So check it out. Even just go there just to smell it, to look at it, to walk around. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful lobby. Architecture, everything. But Boma is it's like it's distant cousin of Jitco. It's African cuisine, or African twisted cuisine, and it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. And it's the first place I've eaten there 3 times, I think.
Okay, I've been there once.
I've been there 3 times, and you were with me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there 3 times, and that's what introduced. It was the first time I ever had couscous was at Boma, and I love couscous. Had it tonight because we're eating healthier, and it's like a superfood or a good carbohydrate or something
Yeah.
delicious. But it's a buffet at Disney, and Disney gets it's so easy for Disney to get into the regimen of basic foods at especially at a buffet. You know,
Right.
your typical items, and Boma breaks that mold. They've got some of the most unique items of food that you could ever imagine, and they have one of my favorite desserts, the zebra dome.
That I see. I don't remember because when did we go? That had to be 5 years ago, right?
That was 2012. It was the summer.
Yeah, so 5 years ago, that was the only time I've been there, and the only time I've ever had a zebra dome. And I remember liking it, and I just don't remember it that well to speak on it myself.
If we have the time and we can remember when you're down here in a few weeks, if you go to the quick service at Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is
Yeah.
outside around the corner by the pool, you can actually buy a 4-pack of zebra domes.
Okay, well, I'll have
It's
to
outrageous
remember.
because it's like $5 for 4, and then
Right.
you pay 35 to get into Boma, and it's all you can eat zebra domes. And I honestly eat like 10.
Right. It's
But
like
they've
just
got-
stuff with chocolate, right?
It's got like it does have like a rum reduction on the
Yeah.
inside, but it's chocolate like pudding almost, but
Yeah.
in a dome form. It's so good. There's nothing that's like. But they've got cookies. They've got a whole amazing dessert buffet. They've got a carving station there. They always have 2 to 3 soups or chilies on top of couscous, rice, mac and cheese, your typical buffet things, your African cuisine. It is such a hidden gem that people do not go there enough.
Yeah.
And I think anybody who listens, who's going down in Disney, especially if they have the dining plan, make a point, go to Boma, it's on like the lower floor of Animal Kingdom Lodge. And then when you're done for dinner, go outside in the behind Animal Kingdom Lodge and go all the way to the left past the pool and use the free night vision goggles to see the animals at night.
I did not know that either. I mean, I am learning something new every single day.
Now this is just overload. You
Right.
go there at 2:30 p.m. to the lodge. Go to the concierge, ask to sign up for the free behind the kitchen tour, and you can sign up for a 30-minute in the kitchen tour where you see the kitchen and how they prepare the food authentically in Boma and Jitco. Talk to the chefs, and you get a free taster of something.
Golly, I'll be darned. Well, Peter, that is great. And you know what I love about our list? Is that I think you got a great list, and I think I got a good list. And they're like completely, like, I think the theme of we both have like themes to our list. Does that make sense? Or you've
Yeah.
kind of said, like, what What was your number five?
My number five is I think I'm looking at it now, and I think you're thinking I'm going buffet
Not necessarily
or all you can
buffet,
eat,
but
and I
but
kind of am. I kind
yeah.
of am.
And I think mine is on a theme till the very end. But I'll go to my number three, and my number three is a restaurant that I've been to 2 to 3 times. It's fairly new. Peter kind of has some experience from this restaurant just because it's based out of Chicago, and that restaurant is
Oh,
the
I have so
Boat.
many honorable mentions now.
Yeah, I know. So do I. That's what I'm saying. I got a ton. Probably got 10 honorable mentions, but mine is the Boathouse. That restaurant is at Disney Springs. That place, I've never gone and had a bad meal. Everything's good from their bread. It's just nice and fluffy and good. Um, they got steaks that are fantastic. Their appetizers are fantastic. Fish tacos, anything you can think of. Uh, the service is phenomenal. I've never had bad service there. They're very professional waiters and their wait staff. I like the atmosphere. You kind of got the pier that walks out to the bar. It's just a
They've got
great all around experience.
that bar is really cool at the end, and then they have live music on most evenings
Yeah.
inside the restaurant. And Don mentions there, it's a connection to Chicago, is because it's owned by the same restaurant, the same management company that owns Gibson Steakhouse. So if you go there, and it makes sense that they've got good steaks because Gibson Steakhouse is personally top three best steakhouse in Chicago. But I think there's not a doubt that it's top five in every Chicagoan's list of steakhouses,
Right.
if not one.
And
Most
that's the
people say
place
it's
we
one.
visited together.
We did. We went there with your brother. Um, and you go to any table in Boathouse, you'll pick up the steak seasoning, and it'll say Gibson Steak on the back.
Really, I think it's
Mhm.
cool. Even from when you walk in and you just see all the lobster tails being displayed, and then you got those cars slash boats that you can drive. It's expensive, never done it, but you have that option. It's just a really cool place. I think it's a really nice addition to Disney Springs and kind of what they're trying to make that to be.
I agree. I know your theme, and we'll discuss at the end, but
Yeah.
I think the theme of both of ours, and this is something that Disney does well overall, is I think experience is super important as an underlining factor to both of our lists.
Yeah.
You look at all the restaurants we've mentioned, they've got an extreme attention to detail
Yeah.
and vision for what they are. Because I think that as a high quality food and beverage experience, whether you admit it or not, you are like subconsciously thinking about the story, what's going on, all the small details, what do the napkins look like, are they cloth, are they pressed, are they all those kind of things. I think everybody, whether they like it or not, it affects them.
Right. For sure. For sure. So
Am I
what
going
is number two?
Ooh, my number two. This was my number one for. First time I came to Disney World was 2010, so almost 8 full years. In a couple months, it'll be 8 years since the first time I came to Disney World, and I worked there for 6 months. Worked here for a month and a half. Then came on countless trips. Now I lived here for 6 months, so I probably spent a long time here compared to the average person who just vacations. This restaurant, and I'm even going back soon, was my number one for all of my time here up until about a month ago.
Okay. Hit me.
Ohana.
You're going back soon.
Yeah, I'm going back. Chelsea's family's coming in, and I think Cole made a reservation. It's us and Cole and Chelsea's family.
Awesome.
Going back end of March or end of February. You're coming into February, I think end of March.
Okay.
I have too many restaurant plans I had to put
Yeah.
a stop
Right.
order on all friends visiting with food because we're doing Cape May with Matt when he comes down.
When's he coming down?
I think like the day you leave or something, or the
Okay.
week after you leave, or the week before you get here. I don't know. Then my friend Brooke from Chicago is coming in. We don't have anything set in stone yet, but we're doing some food with her.
Right.
And then we've got some other friends coming in. A lot of food things, and it's
Right.
a lot of money that we're trying
Right.
to pull back on. But
Right.
I digress. Ohana, and I think we both can talk a lot to this.
Right.
All you can eat Polynesian, the best, like 48 hours marinated meats cooked over a stone and wood for hours and smoked, and the service is great, the atmosphere is great. It's Hawaiian Polynesian themed. You can look at the castle. They even play the firework music through there, and I'm talking dinner, breakfast. I'm not a fan of. It's your typical breakfast buffet, the same sausage, eggs, Mickey waffles, but you do get to meet Lilo and Stitch. But the dinner, every person who steps on property needs to try to go there.
Right.
It's amazing.
I think everything about Ohana is great. I think the food is great. Don't necessarily think it's the best food on Disney property, no, but I think with all the, I actually think some of the restaurants that I've named before has better food, but I think when it comes to overall experience and everything you're getting, it just truly is one of the greatest, you know.
And I 100% agree because it doesn't have the best tasting food, but I think
It's very
the
good.
it's so good, and then the variety of flavors and food and how it's presented and the service and everything, the package is what sold me.
And then you end it with the Bananas Foster's bread pudding, which is
Best dessert on property.
maybe, you know, the best dessert ever, not just on property. And I think,
Would agree.
and now that I think of it, we should link the video to our trip on the Fab Five
February.
207, where we finagle them to give us some bread pudding after the kitchen closed.
So you can go to the bar outside of Ohana and order for $5. Isn't it
Yes.
5 or is it 7?
I think it's 5, yeah, 5.
So $5 simple. You can get the best dessert in the world from the bar, and we went there right as the kitchen closed. But Dom finagled the server into getting us like 3 orders of it because we were at a large party.
Right.
Best magical moment that's ever happened, I think.
All you gotta do is look at them and go, oh, well, I guess I'll never get bread pudding again, and then I'll give it to you. That's just how it works. Just like that. Just like that. But great choice,
What?
Peter. I really dig it.
I think one last thing is if you want to see the fireworks from up there, it's hard to get a reservation for Ohana. Dom pulled some magic again around my birthday in 2010 to find a reservation day of
11.
for my birthday.
2011.
11.
You said 2010.
Oh, 2011. I'm sorry. But just go.
Yeah.
You just gotta
Do it.
go and experience it.
Do it. Well, I dig it, and I thought that was a great pick.
All right, beat my number 2 because I don't think you can.
My number 2 is a restaurant that I've been to once. It is a restaurant that I went to on my most recent trip to Disney. If you kind of get into the vibe I'm going, I'm not doing this on purpose. It's just kind of how it worked out. I've picked more of the fine dining restaurants in Disney. But as you would assume, fine dining, you'd assume that you're paying more, you're going to get better food. And this restaurant is Flying Fish at the Boardwalk. This restaurant was truly one of the best meals I've ever had at Disney. From the pork belly appetizer that literally just fell off the fork the second you touched the fork to the belly. My mom got scallops that were truly, I think, the best scallops I've ever had in my life. Me and my dad got Wagyu beef that was fantastic. Victoria got a salmon that was out of this world. Just everything about it was good. The atmosphere is nice. They have a new chef. I've heard they changed a few things since then, so I don't know how it is now, but I don't think it's been drastic. But everything about that meal is fantastic, and that's why I have it as number 2 on my list.
From what I hear from you and others, think that's a good choice, but I've never gone myself. Sarah and I have not. I don't even think Sarah hasn't even gone to Flying Fish with her family growing up. But
I've been twice.
It-
I apologize. I went
You
before.
went twice?
Yes, I went before they redid the menu, and it was great then. And then they redid the menu and got a new chef, and it was still great.
did you have the desserts?
I don't know that we got any desserts, but my
What I will
parents
say-
did like it better the first time. I kind of liked it better the second time.
Okay, I will say for desserts, because that's at the boardwalk, if you don't want to get a dessert that's on the menu, or if you want to walk off some of that food, leave, take care of the check, leave the restaurant, take a lap around Crescent Moon Lake, which is the lake at the boardwalk and beach club, and go to Ample Hills Creamery at the boardwalk. It's just like 2 buildings down from Flying Fish. Amazing, amazing ice cream and sundaes and cones. It's just super good. High quality, good flavor, good service. I think there's one in New York is like
Better-
the first one.
Is it better than Beaches and Cream?
It's different
Okay.
because Beaches and Cream, I really have only gone there, I think, once to get ice cream that wasn't the kitchen sink.
Okay. We went this past
Shake
February.
Shake for Shake, or like Sunday for Sunday. I don't know. It's hard. It's really good.
You want
And
to know
they've
what I
got
think you're going through right now? I think
what?
you want to say yes, it is, but you have such an attachment to Beaches and Cream, you're afraid to say no. That's what I
Well,
think is going through your head right now.
here's what I'll say is that size of the sundaes at Beaches and Cream and show, like the gaudiness of the Beaches and Cream sundaes are better at Beaches and Cream. Ample Hills is simple.
Okay.
You have it on a waffle cone. You get 3 scoops. Their ice cream for ice cream, Ample Hills better. Sunday for Sunday would probably still go with Beaches and Cream, but they've got the ooey gooey cake ice cream and ooey gooey cake sundaes at Ample Hills. And I don't know if you've ever had ooey gooey cake. It's a big thing in St. Louis. Oh my God, it's delicious.
Out
It's
of this
life changing. Out of this world. I don't know how I want to eat so much food when you're here. And there's not enough time.
I love food.
Or money or stomach space.
Right. But we will figure it out, and I will make it happen. Well, Peter, that was my number 2, Flying Fish.
That was your number 2.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your number 1? Here we go. This is what we've all been waiting for.
This is my number 1. I've only gone once, and it was quite the experience. Just went a little over a month ago with some newer friends that we've met through our YouTube. And I cannot. You're going to have to cut me off at some point because I will talk until I'm blue in the face. This is probably the most expensive meal that I have on my list because I think it's like $80 a person. But, oh, man, if you can somehow get a free dining meal and it's 2 dining credits or 1 signature service credit. So it's probably in the same realm of pricing that some of Dom's are with the fine dining. But this is the brunch at the California Grill at the Contemporary Resort. It's on the top of the Contemporary Resort. It's brunch. It starts, you walk in. If you're under 21, they've got like a seltzer, pop, delicious, fruity drink. If you're over 21, hand you a mimosa. Both of those things, unlimited. You get seated. They've got a cello and a violin and a piano player playing beautiful music. You get seated. It's brunch, so it's sunny. It's in the morning. You look out and you see Seven Seas Lagoon. You see Polynesian, Grand Floridian, and Magic Kingdom. You're staring right at your face while you're sipping on your drinks. Then they say, okay, whenever you want, get up and go over there. There's your unlimited breakfast buffet where you can make your own charcuterie boards. You can get oatmeal, salads, baked goods. I think there was sushi up there too. Yeah, there was sushi up there too. Now there's another add-on here. Now I got to experience this for anybody that's over 21 is they have a Bloody Mary bar, and this Bloody Mary bar is the most ridiculous thing ever. I mean, I have pictures in a video. They will be down below. If you do anything else, if you're busy and you can't listen to the next 5 minutes of this podcast, shut off this podcast and go look at this video. Best Bloody Mary, best service. I got an Eggs Benedict. Because after the all-you-can-eat buffet, you get to still order an entree. Ordered an Eggs Benedict. Best Eggs Benedict I've ever had. Best food I've ever eaten. And to top it all off, the service was the best restaurant experience I've ever had. Ohana, the biggest thing I have to say against it is they rush you. No matter what time of the day, they rush you. This brunch, we were there with new friends. We spent 3.5 hours up there with 2 little children who at one point were just rolling on the ground having a good time because they didn't want to sit in their chairs.
Right.
The servers could care less. They kept coming over to make sure our mimosas, our food was good. We needed anything else. They made sure that we were taken care of. There was not a hint in any fashion that we needed to get out of there.
Right. Beautiful.
The best dining experience I think I've ever had in my life.
I'm
Disney,
jealous.
not Disney, anywhere.
I'm jealous I didn't get to join you on that experience because I think I would have loved it.
You would absolutely love it. And then there's a dessert with all kinds of baked goods, but I'm done. Mic drop. You can't beat it.
I'm not going to be able to beat that. That was it sounds very magical, and now I have just a bunch of agony and pain inside that I wasn't able to go there. Hopefully one day I will be able to experience the magic that you got to at the California Grill brunch. But my number one, I knew you were going to say it eventually, and it just happens to be my number one, and that is Ohana at the Polynesian Resort. Like I said, I kind of mentioned a little bit on it earlier.
I apologize for bashing that just now in comparison to my
No,
number one.
no, it's okay. And here's the thing: I don't think Ohana has the best food. I really don't. I think their food is very good. But the reason I have Ohana number one is one, I think the Polynesian is a beautiful resort, and I think the space is very nice. I think the experience that you get there is nice. You got the ukulele playing, you got the smells. I mean, Ohana has a distinct smell to it that you just can't get anywhere else. You have the smells of the food, the view of Cinderella's castle there, and if you're lucky enough to see the fireworks, that is great. And it just has a relaxing, chill vibe to it. You know, you get the pineapple drinks. The pot stickers are fantastic. The bread pudding's the best dessert in the world. I just think the overall experience that you get there and the bang for your dollar is, I think, something that you can't get anywhere else on Disney property. I think, yes, you went to California Grill, right? And you had a great experience, all you can eat, drink, whatever. But you got to think, that was $80. And I'm sure every $80 that you spent was worth it. But not everyone can go and spend, $80 at Disney. So if you can't do that, I think, I don't know off the top of my head how much the buffet, I think anywhere between $35 to $39, I believe it is.
For Ohana?
Yeah.
With tip, it's $50 a person.
Okay. So it's just kind of that and going somewhere else. I think overall it's the best bang for your buck on Disney property.
Yeah. I'll add on that, if you have the dining plan, it's only one table credit.
Right.
So it is by far the best when it comes to dining plan. That's why Sarah and I have gone so many times, because the handful of times we've had the dining plan, pretty much even if we only had 1 day's worth of credits for the dining plan, we'd be at Ohana because it's the best value. You can go to, trying to think of other table service, you can go to Mama Melrose or Tony's on Main Street, and that's one table credit. Or you can go to Ohana.
And yeah, so I 100% agree.
Like
And
quality, experience, and quantity, hands down, the best table service credit in the property.
without a doubt. Me and Victoria just went for my birthday back home. I believe there's one in Orlando as well. It's called Fogo de Chao. And also there's Texas de Brazil. We have one of those in Detroit too.
There's
And
a
that's
Fogo de Chao in Chicago as well.
okay. And it's like the Brazilian style steakhouses, so they come around to skewers like Ohana. So I assume Ohana kind of is emulating like the Brazilian steakhouse style of a restaurant. And as we're sitting there, we're like, it's good. Like, I'm enjoying myself, but it's just not Ohana. Because, yes, the food might be equal in flavor and taste, but you don't have that Ohana experience like you get there. If that makes
Right.
sense. So,
No, it makes complete sense.
that is kind of where I stand on that with my number one and my top five. And Peter, let's go on to some honorable mentions. I know you said you have a lot, so this kind of, you don't have to get into detail if you don't want to, but just kind of name off one or a couple that you want to say.
Oh, God. The most important honorable mention probably is Homecoming.
I would have never thought of it. It's a very good place.
It's one of my top 5 favorites in Disney World now. It's a newer restaurant. I think it opened up maybe 2 years ago at Disney Springs. It's by Chef Art Smith, I think is his name. He used to be a custodial cast member in Disney, and the reason why it's called Homecoming, he was one of Oprah's head chefs, I believe, for a long time. But he left Disney after doing a college program, and he came back to open up his restaurant there at Disney Springs, and it's called Homecoming because to him, it's like he was coming home.
Right.
So that's why it's called Homecoming. Another honorable mention. These are 2 that I have not gone to, but I will one day, sometime in my life. I just know I'm going to love them. It's going to be Narcoossee's and Victoria and Albert's, both at the Grand Floridian. Actually, to add on top of that, 1900 Park Fair is an honorable mention. It's a buffet, breakfast, or brunch. I think they have a dinner, too. Never did dinner, always did breakfast, but great experience.
We did dinner before.
We did dinner? Oh, yeah. When,
We forgot all of our credit cards in the car. Or they didn't work or something.
Right. None of our credit cards worked. It was like the last bit of our college program. We had no money, so I think you and Matt's dad came to the rescue. for that. But yeah, that was some of my honorable mentions.
Perfect.
What do you got?
I like
List off
I
all
like your
15 of them.
I like your Victorian Alberts and Narcoossee's. So one thing I've heard about Narcoossee's is I've heard the food good. I, I heard the food is good, not the food good. But I think I've heard it's a little outdated inside. Could use a little remodeling. Just from what I've heard, it's nothing to do with the food.
I could see that, but it's because you're surrounded on all sides by
Water.
Seven Seas Lagoon. I could see it not caring about
Right.
that.
Right. So my honorable mentions, the first one I thought of, and then I started thinking of a couple. It is I should know the name. I don't, but it is the wine cellar inside the Italian Pavilion in Epcot because you can actually order the food from the restaurant next door, Tutu Tortella or whatever it's. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you can order the food from there. So I'm sure it's considered a table service credit if you want to eat there. That is one of I don't think enough people go in there because I've never had a hard time getting in there. I just walk in, sit down, have a glass of wine, have a glass of limoncello or a beer, and just get some cold cuts, some prosciutto, some passata, some fontina cheese,
And
bread.
it's great to do on a hot summer day because it's
Right.
cold in there and it's dimly lit, so it gives your eyes a break, it gives your body a break. It's just a great place to refresh.
It's a really nice break. So that would have to be my number one. Another one that I would say, and I went here about a year ago, and it is actually at the Swan and Dolphin Resort, and that is El Molino. That is an Italian restaurant. I believe they have one in New York City as well. And I would venture off to say that this is the best Italian food that I've had on Disney property.
Wow.
I got the gnocchi with the bolognese, and it was fantastic. Everything my parents got, they loved. The atmosphere is beautiful. It was just a really great place and a really good experience.
I got another honorable mention for fish eaters out there, and it's at the Polynesian as well, right next to Ohana. It's going to be the Kona Cafe.
That's a good one as well.
I went there for Sarah and I went there for our anniversary this year, shortly after we moved here, and it was a great experience. They had great drinks, great service, really fun atmosphere, and good fish meals. I think I got a platter of different kinds of fish, and then Sarah got, I believe, some sushi and then some kind of rice bowl.
Okay.
Very, very good. And then they also have there's a famous cinnamon roll you can get there for breakfast.
Nice. I been there for breakfast and got the Tonga toast.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Not a cinnamon roll, the Tonga toast.
Yeah. And lastly, my last honorable mention is a restaurant that I've been to a couple times. I've never been there for their dinner buffet, but I've been there for lunch, and it's a hidden gem. No one really knows about it because you got to kind of walk a little bit to get there sometimes, depending on where you're at. And there's never anybody in there, but I just love the atmosphere. It reminds me of the Cracker Barrel, and that is Trail's End at Fort Wilderness.
Oh, I just went there a couple months ago for brunch. That is super good.
Yeah,
It's small.
Was that your first time there?
First time.
Yeah,
brunch.
it's just like a hidden gem. Was it busy? There's no one in there every time I've gone in there. It kind of
brunch is busy because it's famous for its brunch because
Okay.
it's got you get everything that you have for dinner. You can get
okay. I
on
did
the
not know
brunch
that.
menu. Yeah.
I just really enjoyed it. I don't know that it necessarily had wowed me, but it's a good vibe in there. The food's decent, and if it's kind of gets you away from
Great
everything.
atmosphere.
Right. Great atmosphere.
I'm a big fan of walking around Fort Wilderness, that
Right.
whole area. So I would go there, and I want to say it was a $30 or $25 even buffet.
Yeah. It's just a really good spot, and I would recommend that to anybody that just kind of wants to kind of get away and not be around the crowds of people. I mean, it feels like you're up north. Well, Michigan, we say go up north to like Cottage and whatnot. It kind of has that feel to it. And that's what it reminds me of.
I agree. I think I really thought that the whole thing for you would be steak driven, and it mostly was. But I think the whole overall feel that we had, this list of food we discussed, even with our honorable mentions, was good variety of food there. And please let us know down below your favorites in the comments. And also, if you have any questions, you can always leave a comment down below, or we can reach out to you if you reach out to us through your Twitter, email, Instagram, whatever. We love to talk about food. There's a million places we both have gone to that weren't talked about today that we would love to talk about. So just ask us any and all questions.
Right, for sure. And I think, with your list and my list, everything that you've named are great restaurants. I don't think there's those both of our lists can intertwine with each other. Like it just totally depends on what you're feeling on that day, and what's best for your family. You know, I think
Definitely,
Peter's list
definitely.
is more family orientated, and my list outside Ohana is more, date night, couple orientated.
Dom's being politically correct. I'm gonna just say for him. Yes, my list is more family friendly, or it's more fat boy friendly.
It's not even
you
where I was
got you got
not
you
even
got.
where I was going.
I know, but I'm just being honest. Like I have all but one are all you can eats,
Right.
and I take advantage of my all you can eats.
But
Okay,
you know what? In Disney, you
and
have
I take
to.
pride.
You
I
have
take
to.
pride in my all you can eats.
No, there's nothing wrong with a good all you can eat.
Oh, there isn't.
And
Nothing
there's
but goodness.
there's another all you can eat that you didn't mention that I think could. I've gone there and have had great experience and okay experience, and that's Cape May.
Cece's.
What'd you say?
I said Cece's. You talking about Cece's?
No, not Cece's Pizza. Yeah. Yeah.
Cape
If
May.
it-
Cape May is good. I've been there once. I've got a reservation in a couple of weeks to go there with some friends. It's really good. I went there for Christmas
Okay. Yes, we did.
with Matt.
We did.
Yeah,
I
we
was
did,
there.
right?
Yeah.
You were there too. That was super good. Carving station. Another one with a different, not typical buffet.
Right. If we went to Cece's right now, I probably wouldn't be doing this podcast because I'd be in the bathroom.
I'd also be appalled because everywhere we just mentioned is 100% the opposite of quality of CC's, because CC's is not the most high quality. But
Right.
I've gone. I mean, I don't make a common practice of it, but
Right.
sometimes you need a CC's trip, just like sometimes you need a White Castle's trip if
Right.
you're from the Midwest.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But Peter, I had a ton of fun doing this. This I would say these past two episodes have been my favorite to do so far, just because I love food and I love talking about food, and I think we can do a ton more top 5 list of restaurants in some sort.
Oh, definitely. You could do top 5 in each park, top 5 resort ones,
Top 5
styles of
worst.
food, top 5 worst.
Yeah, I mean the list goes on.
Top 5 ones that I've been to that you haven't, just to
Right.
rub it in your face.
Right. We can, and I'm looking forward to it. So again,
All right.
you can go follow Peter Brookhart, on the Brookhart Project.
Every day, right now, if you go on to it, because this is being posted on Sunday, we will have already hit we have put up more than 200 vlogs.
Yes, and they are almost to 2,000 subscribers. So that's a really big deal.
Yeah, I did not think we'd get anywhere near that. I didn't even think we'd get near 1,000, but we're doing okay, and we really appreciate anybody who does give us time to watch our vlogs, and I think Dom is the same way. Anybody that gives any time, because in this day and age, time is so precious to all of us, to give up their time to watch my vlogs or Dom's vlogs or listen to this podcast, whether it's at home or on your car to work or while you're working out, we are extremely appreciative. We really, really are.
Right. And I couldn't have said it any better myself. And again, you can go follow myself and my girlfriend Victoria on YouTube at Dom and Vic, and on Instagram at Dom and Vic Eats Detroit. And again, don't forget to send us your theme park testimonials at parkhopperpodcast@gmail.com. And like I said, thank you again for listening. My name is Dominic Giefko. You are Peter Brookhart. And this is the Park Hopper Podcast.